again everyone, welcome back to another Last Cloudia video. Today we're going to review some of the new stuff that has arrived at the game, kind of give you a quick review of Romel, as well as the new arcs that have arrived at the game, as well as give you a quick overview of the new content that has arrived so you know what to keep your eyes peeled for. So the first thing I want to jump into is Romel. Romel is the new character in the game, and I know you'll be like, oh my gosh, you have Romel, how did you do that? It was an accident. It honestly was. I unlocked a 10 summon ticket, got the new SSR arc off of the 10 summon ticket magically, and then with the new story that unlocked, I managed to get a 3K that I used because I wanted the new SR arc, which I'll explain why here in a minute, and Romel happened to be in it, so my luck is incurable and majestic and amazing. So sorry to anybody who's had bad luck out there. I feel bad because I don't really care for Romel, but some people do, and let me explain why. Romel is a pretty fantastic fire-based damage dealer. He's almost like a better fiery version of Ray in that he's super brawly. He's got a lot of cleavage, if you will, to his attack area. He's really quite good for that. As you can see, I haven't really leveled mine up or touched him at all because, man, SC is like the biggest chokehold in the game in terms of getting a new unit up to speed. So if I invested in him, it would be at the expense of another character I've already invested in, so I can't really do anything with him right now. But what he does have is 4 abilities that all do fire damage. The third one is missing right here. I don't have it unlocked, but all of them do fire area attacks in a small area. And that's great because he also gets innate fire boost, and you can also equip him with the Ethereon item from his SSR arc that accompanies him on this banner, so that all of his attacks, whether they're auto attacks or whether they're SET skills, all of them do fire damage with the boosted element on it. And his special is Carnage Burn, which does a lot of fire damage to a single enemy. So he is very much like a fiery version of Randy, which means that he's going to be amazing in situations where enemies are weak to fire, a little bit less amazing when they're not, and against neutral enemies he'll be about the same. Randy may be better. I honestly don't know the nuts and bolts of it in terms of, at what's the tipping point or who's better when or whatever. Ultimately, in Last Cloudia, it doesn't matter too much because most units can be viable when you build them correctly with properly strong arcs. So what I would say is, should you pull for Romel? Should you go for him? The answer is only if you really, really want him. I would say if you already have Randy or Prim or Sevia or something like that, you really don't have to. If you are missing out on one of the premier physical damage dealers, it is something that you can consider, of course. In my case, I wasn't really pulling for him. I just got him on accident. So happy coincidence. I won't be able to do anything with him for a while because, man, souls suck. They're basically impossible to farm. Now, we're going to look real quick at the new arcs that came to the game as well. There are 2, one of which is an SR and the other is an SSR. Now, Phoenix Blow is the name of this new arc, and I did happen to get it on a 10 summon ticket, which is crazy. I off-bannered it in one go. Now, unfortunately, I do have to say that this arc does appear to be relatively unremarkable in general. It has Meteor Rain, which, you can get all over the place. It's just a fire spell. It's got Fast Brave, which is nice. It's nice to get it at a lower level. It only requires arc level 2 to unlock, and that automatically activates Brave on battle start. So that's handy. It's good for physical damage dealers. I recommend a Brave skill for pretty much any of them, but I do believe this is the version of Brave that falls off eventually. So it is a casted version, so it's not permanent. It's not the best version of it. Auto Brave is the one that you would want in an endgame build, but this one's not bad to get, especially at level 2. Giga Nemesis is good for breaking or reducing enemies' mind by 20%, but it doesn't really synergize. I don't know why you need that. When you're talking about an arc that has a little bit, I guess not too much focus on physical damage dealers, but anyways, Giga Nemesis, handy if you need it. And I think, what level do you get it at? Level 3. That's really good too. Getting it at a low level like 3 makes it very easy to access. So it's good for some of that low level stuff. Blind Nil is basically going to be useful when it's useful, otherwise it's not going to do anything for you. Flame High Boost boosts your magic damage with fire element by 30%, so this is going to be a good choice for anybody who's building somebody besides Dean to be a fire mage. And then the unique skill is Awaken, which recovers HP, increases strength, defense, mind, and movement speed when close to death 1 time. So this, I think it brings you back like from the brink of death and then buffs you up. So this is helpful maybe, but it does have a pretty high SC cost at 9. So I can't really see it making it onto too many endgame builds. And I'm just seeing I didn't get the sparkly here. Sheet music, lava. It is a super, super cool looking arc. I really like how it looks, but ultimately I can't say that it's the most impressive. For the arc attribute, all I can see right now is that it improves break percentage, which, I mean, I don't end up breaking a lot of bosses. Most of the time they just die. But it depends on the boss. You know, against harder bosses where you have somebody who's brawly and you're trying to break them a lot, you know, like let's say I'm using Ray for that. This would be a good arc to slap on Ray so that he can get that extra break percentage in, so that I can have somebody like Randy come in and just kick the crap out of him. So that's Phoenix Blow. It's pretty mediocre. I don't really think it's worth chasing unless you want this, which is the Ether reward. Fireclaw, Legulo Magna, and this thing is really sweet, especially for Romel. It's 158 and it increases skill damage by 50%. So that's kind of awesome, and it is fire element. So for Romel, it is basically the perfect weapon. It's his personal equivalent of Randy's Mana Blade. So if you want Romel, then you probably also want Phoenix Blow, and you may be able to get them both. Now, the thing that is probably more useful to everybody is going to be the Temple of Grana Daria, and this is an SR arc, so it's going to be a little bit easier to get, and I don't necessarily recommend that you have to like pull for it right now, but this is kind of like the Grand Tree arc in that it unlocks access to a new summon. So it is also a pretty handy arc. It does have a good handful of healing abilities on it, as well as a relatively unique one. I don't think we've seen Hydro Shell anywhere else. This halves magic damage except for thunder attribute magic, so this is really, really good if you're going for some sort of tanky build, or you're going against a boss that does a lot of magical damage. It also has got Resurrection, and what level is that at? That's level 4, so Resurrection at level 4 is really handy. I've definitely used Resurrection on Lena before, like that's part of her kit, and it's come in handy, so that's something you can consider. And its arc attribute is that it reduces the MP cost of healing magic, so I think this can actually really enable you to use a non-healer support type character as a healer. So if you're like, oh, I want to have Dean on my party so I can have some magic, but I also want him to have some healing skills or maybe resurrection or things like that, this is the sort of arc that you would want in order to enable you to do that. Now, you can get these sort of support and healing sort of skills and stuff elsewhere, except for maybe Hydro Shell, but it is a really convenient way to get it, and because it's an SR arc, it is going to be a little bit easier to get your hands on. The thing that applies to everyone is being able to unlock Grana Daria, which is the new summon, which I can show you right now. It does look super, super cool. We actually got 2 new summons in this update. We got Salmea, which is this little guy right here that if you've been to the shop, you've seen his little icon before. He's pretty cool because he increases your defensive stats as well as your SCT and your movement speed when you summon him. So this is a really handy supporty summon. And then Grana Daria was the other one that arrived in this. And you can't upgrade either of these ones yet, you just get access to their base forms. Grana Daria's summon is a powerful ice attack against all enemies. And if you're familiar with Brave Exvius or Final Fantasy in general, he looks exactly like Leviathan. So he is pretty sweet. So that covers the new units and arcs. We did get a number of new story stages and stuff today, so let's go ahead and look at those really quick, and we'll talk about that. You'll see I started over by it. If you have completed Blaze Garden, which is this stage way over up here, if you've completed this in the main story, then you have access to a new section of story missions, which brings you all the way back over here to the Malboria Caverns. And it's full story stages, you know, like we've had before, and it'll take you all the way this way onto this island, and it concludes right here in underground Baranda. Now, the first of the summons, the little, the purple guy, I can't remember his name, I think you just get them naturally by completing one of the story missions here. I forgot because I kind of rushed through it. Okay, don't judge me, I'm sorry. I was trying to get through it so that I could tell you where to find stuff. Anyways, you just get them naturally by completing some of the stories along the way, and then Granadaria themselves is available here in the Whirlpool. And by the time you arrive, I don't know exactly where the landmark is, but once you're nearing the end of this story segment, you will see a sparkle here in the Whirlpool. You can just tap that and it unlocks the Temple of Granadaria, which just has a single underwater temple stage, and that can get you the summon for Granadaria. So that's that right there. With this story update, we also have 2 new shops, and these shops come with some upgraded stuff compared to what we've had before, which is nice. I think most of it is going to be kind of situational based on what you need or what you already have. A lot of good armor, some good non-elemental weapons and things like that. Some weapons that have extra damage against fish. So there's a handful of interesting, unique things. In my case, I'm like, all right, may as well expand my inventory. There are a couple of items that are a little bit more unique, though. I thought this was the one that had the fishing rod. Maybe, am I crazy? Oh yeah, there's 3 new shops. Sorry, I misspoke. I said 2. There's 3. Anyways, and somehow I didn't buy this. Or did this unlock after I cleared everything else out? See, we're learning as we go. This looks great. I may as well just pick it up. Let's go. Anyways, so when you arrive at this final shop, it actually has for sale a fishing rod, and you're going to want to pick this up because it gives you access to this fishing spot. So once you purchase it here at the shop, it'll unlock the fishing spot over here. Now, you can go to this fishing spot at any time, and it doesn't consume any resources or anything for you to go ahead and go fishing. And all you do is cast your line out, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. They'll nibble at it, but when they bite, you want to reel them in. And all you have to do is tap, and it reels them in automatically. And there's a bunch of different types of fish that you can catch this way. It's honestly a really simple mini game, and you can catch 100 fish per day. Yeah, I think is what I heard. I haven't confirmed this myself, but you can catch 100 fish per day, and there I think are a dozen different types. So super easy little mini game there. As you can see here, here's our little catalog that has 12 different fish that you can catch in your fishing spot in Aldana, and it has kind of a cap of like how many you can catch. It's almost like the beast hunting thing, where like once you've caught a certain number of them, you unlock a particular thing. Like you get the SR gotcha ticket, but once you've caught 90 of this fish, which is it's a lot. You know, you're gonna have to do this stupid mini game a lot to get all the rewards. But I think there's 2 rewards that are the most worth it for this. The first one, of course, is for getting the first catch of each of the 12. So once you've caught each of them once, you get a 10 summon ticket. So that's super awesome. I highly recommend that. And then the big catch is where you've maxed out all 12 of them. So once you've caught 80 of this one, and 70 of this one, and 50 of this one, and 60 of this one, once you've completed all of those, you will earn yourself a single Ethereon. So as far as Ethereon rewards go, that's probably going to be the one that you're going to have to grind the hardest for, because that's a crap load of fish that you're going to have to catch. But you know what? You may as well. One other item worth noting that you get that can allow you to unlock a 10 summon ticket is Pokkle Same. And so at some point during this, you'll run into a sub quest called Let's Play Pokkle Same or something like that, and it unlocks an item for you called Pokkle Same, which is it's a little board game, mini game type of thing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Once you unlock it, it shows up in your inventory, and you go on over to Important, which is where it will be. And Pokkle Same is this little guy right here, okay? It's this little green icon, and it's a very popular board game in Granada. And so when you launch it, it actually launches a little mini game. And this is kind of like a Candy Crush type of game sort of thing. It's kind of silly, but if you complete the 5th stage of this, you can get a 10 summon ticket. So it is worth doing. It's very simple. Anywhere where there are 2 Pokkles touching, you can go ahead and tap them, and it pops them, which is maybe a little bit gruesome, but you know what? Let's not think about it. And the objective in the top right tells you how many you're allowed to have at the end of the stage. So you can't have, you know, more than 3 Pokkles, you know, unpopped at the end of the stage, which I'm not especially amazing at this, so we'll see if I can even make it happen. I may be able to do this one. Oh, nope. There's going to be 2 at the end. All right, 2 at the end. So I cleared it. Perfect. And I cleared that stage. So once you've completed all 5 stages, and they do get a little bit harder as you go along. Once you've completed all 5, you do get a 10 summon ticket. So anybody wants to know how I got the Phoenix Blow arc, that's how I did it, is with one of those tickets. Now, there is even more, okay? There's even more to find out on the map, because as you know, when the map expands, so too do the number of hidden chests. And I'll just point out the ones that I found real quick, and I think I've found all of them. There is one behind this little mountain right here that you can tap. There is one, I think this one appeared with this story update as well. And then one of the ones that's super hard to spot is this locked chest right here. And then the last one that's the most obscure is this little guy up here, because I'm pretty sure that one appeared with the story date. I remember him being a little bit obscure. Anyways, you do want to keep your eyes out for chests, because if you go back to the secret blast furnace, you are able to unlock a new weapon, and it is actually a really good weapon. It's one I'm using on my Randy right now. It is a spear with, I believe, 118 attack or something in that neighborhood, and it has a chance to restore 3% of your HP whenever you do damage. So that's a really handy spear to have. It has a lot of attack, or a lot of strength, sorry. The FFBE in me is kind of creeping out here and there. So that's super handy to get a hold of. And you can do that through unlocking these additional chests. One other thing worth noting as well is that the fairy catching minigame also has a new item updated. I believe the fairy is located in Midra Forest. I haven't found it there yet myself, but I'm pretty sure you can find it in one of these stages. Low-key, I have not caught any of the fairies yet myself, because most of the time I'm just letting the game auto and I'm not paying attention because I'm working or I'm doing something else. But anyways, if you're a fairy catcher, this one is actually a good one to get, because it gives you a robe that has, I believe, 70 intelligence on it, which is the best intelligence robe in the game right now, only beaten by dual wielding a second staff, you know, for your mages. So I highly recommend that if you're looking to build your mages up to be stronger. Now, unfortunately, with this update, we did not get access to any new soul spots, but we did unlock the ability to increase the capacity for all of the pre-existing soul spots. So that's something that I definitely recommend you prioritize. I mean, I've been saving up my blue ones so that I can upgrade my 2 red ones. These cost 770 blue souls a piece to upgrade, which is definitely an arm and a leg, but it's 100% worth it, because as you know, saving up red orbs just sucks. Now, in addition to that, the blue ones are also upgradable. I cannot remember how much I paid for these, because I was just like, bingo, bango, bongo, knock all of those out. Get them upgraded as soon as possible, but it is more expensive than the previous step as well. But again, well worth it, because it means you're getting more orbs when you are not playing the game, that's what you want. Orbs are your ability to progress. So definitely keep those in mind. One other thing I'll comment on is that this week, I know that it said that the training field was going away, but it is actually not. It's still here for this week as well, and I know some people were initially confused on that, as I was as well, because I believe the in-game news said that it was going to be lasting for 2 weeks, but then the banner itself said it was only lasting for 1. Yeah, as you can see here, it says the event period was running from the 6th to the 19th, so that would be 2 weeks or so for the training field, and the exchange period was a time extended beyond that. But yeah, unfortunately, it did say on the banner that it was only going to be for the 1 week, and I guess we get it for an extra week. So anybody who missed out on farming more Secret of Mana stuff in order to get training field, sorry, that does suck. But it is a good spot if you're working on someone like Lukiel or Shin. It's a great place to get their skills leveled up or get their levels leveled up. Otherwise, it's good for story characters or just for the rewards if that's what you want. Unfortunately, they did not upgrade the rewards themselves. That would have been nice, but you know, we make do with what we can get. Now with that, I think that about covers just about all the other content. One other thing worth mentioning is that they did add the Japanese voiceovers for the game, and to access that, all you have to do is be in the main menu. You can't do it from anywhere else. You do have to be in the main menu. You go to your options, and you can scroll down to voice settings right here. and you can change it between English and Japanese. And when you select Japanese for the first time, it will prompt you to download some more data, because I guess the Japanese voice pack isn't natively with the game's data. So you got to download that. But the good news about that is that it adds the Secret of Mana voiceover, so that Randy and Prim and Popoi are not silent and killing everyone, which is a little bit morbid. They are they're happy and chattering and all that with everyone else. So if you're partial to the Japanese voiceover, that's something you're probably going to want to check out. But I think that just about covers everything. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of the new stuff that we got this week, and I'll see everybody in the next video.
Calling